Will we see that?
Good for you, right?
No, Steve.
No, Steve.
Mexico.
Really?
Yeah, Mexico or somewhere on the beach. I'm not sure. It might be
Sure,
somewhere
I
else.
think. Yeah, he goes some. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is Mexico.
Must
Poor
be
thing.
nice, huh?
I'm glad you're here. There's quite a bit of work going on here. Cool. That's probably one of the best atmospheres. People, I mean, even if they don't know us, they just been in it. The walk and yeah, at least it's inside. Oh, 2 years ago. Yeah. Well, it was the wind. State Farm Center.
Okay. I don't think we have anyone addressing the board, do we? No. Okay.
Yeah, say.
Okay.
Or ask, I should say, don't say.
Right.
It wasn't.
Right, they said, I just say, when did it, they're showing, whatever. So they're still doing planning, I asked, because of the person had asked. Right.
Thanks for coming. I was just asking. All right.
Big games down south tonight. Florida.
Oh, is
Big
there?
games at Florida tonight, or tomorrow night.
Tomorrow, yeah.
They're hosting a sectional.
I'm surprised. Florida never hosts a section.
Yeah, I don't know. They're moving them around, I guess. I don't know. You know, they're going to, at least in football, they want to start seeding everybody in the same, which is not good for us.
No, I've already said that.
Have you? Dave, I told Dave to send him some. He's like, basically what they usually do is they split north and south and they seed everybody 1 through 32 and 1 through 32, 1 through 32, and, except for football. And then, but now they've changed. At least they voted on the changes. So that means, like when we were in the semis, we could have gone to Richmond Burton up by Wisconsin, and Murfreesboro would have gone to probably Kankakee. But I saw that somebody's playing at Pekin. Two schools that are relatively up north in 3A or probably 3A or 4A. They're not going all the way. They're playing that game at Pekin. It's not where the original section side is.
All the traditions are good.
Yeah.
5:59.
Hit that gavel hard.
Oh,
Let's
my.
go, right? Splinter it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't hit me. Are these extra?
Are we there?
We do it.
Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a roll call, please. Jill? Yes.
Jane, yes. Chad?
Yes.
Desha?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Good evening. This evening, we'd like to acknowledge one of our athletes at Unit 40, Mr. John Perry, who is a senior. He just qualified for the state championship. John, would you like to come forward along with your coaches?
Why don't you stand right over here so that everybody out that's watching tonight can see on the video up here.
So, Coach, would you like to tell us a little bit about John's accomplishments?
Well, this was, I've been coaching now for a while, and John was one of my first wrestlers to reach 100 career wins this year. It happened when he was at the Eastern Illinois tournament and during the championship match. Also during that tournament, not only did he win first place, got his 100th win, he also got the MVP of the tournament. This was his second year for the IHSA tournament, state tournament as a qualifier. And then last year, since the IHSA did not have a tournament, the Illinois Wrestling Coaches and Official Association had a state tournament, and John would also qualify for that.
Excellent.
I've been coaching John now for 12 years. We've been together for a long time. It's been a real privilege to coach him.
Congratulations, John. Thank you to our coaches for helping you achieve your goals. So if we could give John a round of applause. John, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I would just like to say thank you to everybody. I couldn't have done it alone. It is an individual sport, but I had support from a lot of people. So it wasn't, all praise goes to me, but it needs to go to everybody. It wasn't just me. So
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
And your coaches are?
this is Jeremy Patton. Coach B. This is Coach McMillan. There we go.
Okay. That's good right there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Good
Thanks,
luck. This evening, we would also like to recognize our administrative team for our central school that will be coming up this year, the 2022-23 school year. Mr. Todd Schutte has been promoted to our building principal, and we are welcoming back Aaron Spicer as our assistant principal. So we're really happy to have you all on board, and thank you so much for being a leader in our district.
You want to go ahead and move on up here and say a few words if you could, please?
I had a PowerPoint presented and ready to go, and spoke with Aaron today, and I said, I was going to hand it over to the VP and let him give a presentation, but I wasn't going to put him on the spot like that. I want to say thank you to Mr. Doan, Mr. Johnson, and the Board of Education for giving me this opportunity. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about working with this man. I think we're going to make a great team. I look forward to the things we're going to be able to do at Central. I'm excited for my staff because I think with any change, there's that feeling of uncertainty. And I think this is going to be a smooth transition for us. So I think they're very happy about it as well. They're very happy about having Aaron join the team. And so we're looking forward to a lot of good things to come. I'm pretty biased with my staff. They work really hard. They do a lot for kids and parents. I just think that we're moving in the right direction. And our team is going to be exceptional. So thank you once again for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you to Mr. Doan, Mr. Johnson, and the board. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm very excited about it. Very excited.
You both have your families with you, correct?
Yes.
So if you could introduce them for.
My wife Lisa's over here, and two of my kids, Molly and Jacob, my oldest two. I have 3 more that are at school at SIUE and couldn't make it tonight.
I brought my wife Amy and my daughter Emery, and then also my son Sam. So again, I can't say how excited I am about the opportunity and looking forward to working with the administration team and just helping the staff, helping the students. I'm excited about it.
Thank you. Yeah, sure.
Martha, you want to come over?
Yeah,
Mr. Doan?
let Jill.
Do that? Yeah.
Okay.
That looks good.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Excited about it.
Congratulations. Happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
At this time, I'd like to recognize any visitors that would like to address the board. There being none, we'll move on to the financial report.
Thank you. Okay, we finished January with net fund balances of $29,618,386.32. The operating funds made up $25,898,414.20. And HLS funds are making up $849,889.87. The education fund received revenue locally in the amount of $416,511.26. From the state, we received $617,457.18. And federally, we received $136,774.44. We broke out all expenses over $5,000 separately within your packet. And our recommendations this month are to reimburse the interest account in the amount of $967.42, and the payment of bills in the amount of $1,148,010.61. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions for Mr. Fox? There being none, I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the financial report.
Motion. I'll second.
Roll call?
Jane, yes. Chad?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. In your packet, you'll find the minutes from the last meeting, the cafeteria report, the student teacher report, there being none. Fundraisers include the EHS musical is raising funds by having an Adopt a Prop campaign. That's going to run from January 26th to March 18th. The Central PTO is having a book fair April 4th through the 11th. Field trips, the EHS Facts Club is planning a trip to St. Louis to learn about Middle Eastern cuisine and meeting the Grips.
Must be a family.
Grips family who were on the Food Network. So that sounds exciting. That's going to be April 22nd.
What is that? What is that group?
The Family and Consumer Science group
Okay, yeah.
at the high school. I'm guessing a foods class.
Yeah.
We also need to amend the calendar due to the use of the emergency days, and that is in your packet as well. So I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Desha,
I'll second
Jane second. Roll call?
it. Chad?
Yes.
Desha,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes.
Okay, next is the superintendent's report.
You have the foundation reports in there. They had their meeting on February 14th. Looks like they're getting ready to, the annual report will be completed soon. And then they're going to also publicize all the scholarship information soon. So that usually ramps up and then for the spring. Don't have anything else to add there. Also, the enrollment as of January 31st, 2022 is in there. And there were no FOIA requests this month.
Okay. Next is new business. We need to talk about the end of the year calendar dates.
Yeah, so talk with Mr. Roberts because actually, we talk about finals at the high school, and we've used 3 snow days. We still have, emergency days. Could be snow days, could be something else. But would like to set the graduation date for Sunday, May 22nd at 2:00. And then with that, right now, we would have Tuesday, the 24th be finals. Wednesday, the 25th would be finals. That would be the last full day for Unit 40 students. Thursday, the 26th is a SIP day. So those students that do attend are released by noon. And then Friday is Institute. And then that would complete the 2021-22 school year. This would be, would ask that we set graduation and set it and make that the date no matter what as we move forward. If there's some reason we still have to use 2 snow or emergency days, those other days may move back a day. But other than that, we'd like to go ahead and get that set so we're getting phone calls and we just need to do that.
We don't need graduation on Memorial Weekend.
I apologize for asking, what's an SIP day?
School Improvement Day is where we're out at noon. And I just use acronyms. We use an acronym. So School Improvement Day is SIP Day, which we have throughout the year. Students work through, we provide them lunch. Then after that, they're released. And then there's professional development training for the rest of the staff.
Okay.
So I would entertain a motion in a second to set the end of year dates as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Chad,
I'll second it.
second by Brad. Roll call.
Desha,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes. Chad.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is the intergovernmental agreement with ROE number 3 for alternative schools.
Sure. We have every year we bring these agreements before the board. One is for TriStar, which is for junior high students, alternative school. And then we also have alternative high school Aspire that some of our students do attend. And so we have to approve these every year. Understand these are RO3, Regional Office of Education 3 programs. They're not Unit 40 programs, although we used to rent space to them, but it's for students in all of ROE3, not just Unit 40.
Okay.
So every district has to do this if they want to have that option for students.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve the 2022-23 intergovernmental agreement with ROE number 3 for alternative education programs.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Desha,
I'll second.
second by Chad. Roll call.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes. Chad,
Yes.
Desha.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is the approval of Glass and Shuffit to perform the fiscal year 2022 audit.
Thank you. So yes, every year we approve a contract for a not to exceed amount for the annual audit. And so this year we received a contract from Glass and Shuffit for the amount of $22,400 as a not to exceed. And that's for the annual financial report as well as the GATA report that they do for us. So would ask for approval of that contract so we can start that process. What that does, they bring a number of people up in July and spend 3 or 4 days here, and then they come back in September and spend an entire week. And they'll bring in 4 or 5 accountants with them, and they take this whole room up. So It's several days, and they dig through everything. So.
Mhm. Okay. Do we ever come under?
We're always good.
I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve Glass and Shuffit to complete the district FY22 audits at a cost not to exceed $22,400.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brad,
I'll second.
second by Jane. Roll call?
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Desha.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is the TRS Supplemental Savings Plan.
Before I go to that, one thing I will say about Glass and Shuffit, Doug, who comes up here and does our presentation, we bug him all the time. And he never gets upset with us. We all, before we do something, we always run it by him, and he just does that with a smile on his face.
year's number?
So last year's number, and actually, if you look in there, we paid it, plus we asked him to do an additional audit for us for our ESSER. So it came in at $21,900 with the additional that we asked him to do on top. So it would have been a little under that, but we asked him to do an additional on the ESSER to make sure everything was the way it needed to be. So, but we paid it this month, so you'll see it in the bills packet. On the TRS Supplemental Savings Plan, so TRS is requiring all employers to offer to collect and pay into TRS for any employee who chooses to take part in a 457B savings plan. So what's going to be required down the road is new employees or new people into the TRS system will be required to use this as their retirement package and savings. Current employees or that are in tier 1 and tier 2 can voluntarily put money into it. We as a district have to sign a resolution saying that we will accept money from the paychecks and pay it into TRS for anybody who chooses to do it right now. So we are required to do it, but we have to sign a resolution saying that we will do it on behalf of the employees who choose to do it. So this is the formal paperwork to do that.
Okay. Could I get a motion and a second to approve TRS Supplemental Plan Authorization Resolution?
Make a motion.
Motion by Chad,
Second.
second by Desha. Roll call?
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Desha.
Yes.
We're going to move along to our committee reports. The first one is through the Facilities and Transportation. And the first item on that list is the sale of land to IDOT.
We received, so with the widening of Fayette and work they're also going to do on Henrietta, we are anticipating receiving several proposals. The first of those proposals we received is the one that we're going to talk about tonight. It is a small piece of ground. It is on the southwest corner of the intersection of Henrietta and Grove. The large sheet of paper you have in front of you kind of shows that the high school on that sheet of paper you have, the high school sits over here in this corner. So Grove Street running east and west, Henrietta running north and south. The southwest corner there, they want to basically cut, I think it's 1,129 square feet of space off that corner. Right now it's a rounded, almost squared off corner. They want to make it more of a diagonal cut across there, as you can see on this diagram here. So before that 1,129 square feet, they are offering the district $600. Now what we anticipate is they're going to need all four corners of that by the drawings that we've seen. So this is the first of three we expect to see. We own 3 of the 4 corners on that intersection. We also know that they are going to ask for a small sliver of ground in front of the junior high, as well as a large piece of ground along Fayette by West Side School, where they're going to go towards the playground there. So we know for sure 3 that I've talked to individuals about at the state, and then we're expecting 2 more of those as well. So probably 5 different proposals for it said and done. So.
Okay. And they're proposing to pay us how much?
$600.
Okay. So the committee recommendation is to sell that property for $600. I need a motion and a second to approve the sale of 1,129 square feet at the corner of Grove and Henrietta for $600.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Desha,
Second.
second by Chad. Roll call?
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Brett.
Yes.
The next on the agenda for the Transportation and Facilities Committee is the EJHS gym padding replacement.
Okay. So as part of our overall remodel of the junior high, we focused on items that qualify for health, life, safety. The padding in the gym did not qualify for health, life, safety. So that was not on our list to remodel when we originally did it. However, as we're finishing the project up, you notice the things that are now eyesores from everything else looking so nice and being brand new. So the administration came to Mr. Doan and I, asked us to really look at this. Mr. Schwarman did a lot of legwork on this, reached out to several companies, got people in, and he received several proposals. The proposal we really thought met all of our needs is the one from Bolte. I hope I said that right, Bulte. And it is in the amount of $23,270. If you've been in that gym, you know all 4 walls are fully padded because that gym is very small. The walls of the gym creep right up on the floor. That also puts graphics on there as well as some cutouts. If you looked at the proposal, we put 2 cutouts in instead of 1. So that's where we got the number. So just ask for approval to move forward with that and help complete that project.
Would that be a summer project then, or?
That's the goal. If they can get the pads made with still suffering from COVID shipping issues. So
I wonder where that's coming from.
Where's Bolte Company out of?
I knew you were going to ask me that question. St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah. I've heard of it. I just couldn't place it. So.
Okay. So as per the recommendation, I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the replacement padding for EJHS Gymnasium from Bolte Company at a cost of $23,270.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Desha. Roll call?
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill.
Yes. Okay, patch and painting of EJHS.
Okay. So we bid out the patching of the concrete. So half the junior high is 1939 concrete. The other half is 1962 brick. The brick was recently tuck pointed as part of our project and completely redone. The concrete, not so much. And so as part of that project, it was patching the concrete where we thought we would have issues as well as painting the entire building. Those bids came in. We received one bid and one bid only. What we have found out since is several painters had booked themselves up. They knew this project was coming, but they received other jobs that they didn't necessarily think they were going to get, so they didn't bid ours. We ended up with one bid for $453,000. We were not okay with recommending that. Okay, that is way beyond what we anticipated for that project or want to pay for that project. So we would ask the board to please reject that bid, and we'll move forward looking at other options or rebid this at a different time when we can get more bids submitted. So
This bid here, is this also painting the brick?
yes.
So maybe one option is not doing that too?
Potentially. When we broke down the bid, the one bid we did receive, a lot of the cost was in the patching of the concrete because the individuals didn't know what they were going to get into, as well as just labor, because it's the other painters, they were the only painter in the game, and finding labor, they could charge whatever they wanted to. So we feel like if we bid this in July, August, September for next summer, that will get a much better price. So
That's the goal.
That's the
Yeah.
goal. Hopefully.
There's a
Wow.
lot of people playing that same game right now.
Yeah.
Trying to decide on when to bid different projects.
yes.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion and a second to reject all EJHS patching and painting bids.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Chad,
I'll second that.
second by Brad. Roll call?
Chad,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes.
On to the asphalt projects.
Okay, we opened bids on that as well. We actually opened bids for 3 different projects. We opened it up first for the EJHS playground, and I'm going to add to that student drop-off area. The playground in the back is also an area where we drop off some students with special needs and pick them up. in the afternoon. And so it's a playground and a pickup drop-off area. So when we opened up bids for that area, we received a couple of different bids in different ways. So we looked at just a base bid of $174,872. However, traditional asphalt has had a tendency not to hold up long-term the way we'd like for it to. So we also asked that there be an alternate bid put in for a additive called Fortify into the asphalt. A lot of municipalities are using that and finding out they're having very good success with it. The additional fibers in there allow the asphalt to pull apart and come back together, and it holds the asphalt together so you don't get the cracking that you see in a lot of asphalt parking lots because of those additional fibers. So we received an alternate bid on all three of these for the Fortify, and that's what we're going to recommend tonight. So the EJHS playground and drop-off pickup area would be at a cost of $181,372. That would be paid with money from the city TIF that we had received, as well as transportation funds, because it is an area where we pick students up and drop students off. So we would use those two items to pay for that. So our recommendation would be to go ahead and move forward with the EJHS playground and drop-off area for a price of $181,372.
Okay. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Effingham Asphalt's bid for EJHS playground project at a cost of $181,372?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Desha. Second by Chad. Roll call.
Desha,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad.
Yes.
All right. Next
Okay.
playground.
The next one is Central School. There are two playgrounds. We've been trying to work this in for a couple of years now. Right behind the building on each side of the gym, there's a small playground on the north end and on the south end. The south end even has a fence around it so kids don't get out where the buses are going through. So we looked at those two playgrounds. We received a base bid of $104,798. Again, we had that alternate bid with the Fortify fibers added, which came in at $109,235. Our recommendation would be to go with the Fortify alternate bid in the amount of $109,235.
I'm just pointing out that number is different than what's on here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
Must have transposed that when I
Yes.
wrote that down.
We went back and checked it again just a little while ago, and it's 109.35.
Okay, so the recommendation from the committee is to, I'm looking for a motion to second and a motion and a second to approve the Effingham Asphalt's bid for Central Playground Project at a cost of $109,235.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Jane,
I'll second it.
second by Brad. Roll call.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Desha.
Yes.
One more asphalt project.
Okay, so East Side parking lot. East Side School is the one we just remodeled this past summer, preschool. As part of that, right now we have staff. We have enough staff there that we park pretty much around the outside of the block, all the way around the road. And we have to leave the area right to the south of the building open because we have parents pulling through there to try to drop off and pick up their kids 4 times a day because we have 2 different sessions that go through there. So our recommendation would be to look at the parking lot on the east side. We own that whole grassy area to the east of the building. And so we would be able to add 30 parking spots as well as have parent pickup and drop off inside the parking area. We also have our vans who carry students with special needs that right now have to drop off in the street. We could bring them in through that parking lot. We'd be able to drop them off 10 feet from the door, and it's a lot safer to do that. As part of that project, we did the same thing. We bid it as a regular bid and an alternate. The alternate bid, I'll give you the regular bid first. Regular bid came in at $164,016. With the Fortify added, it came in at $167,850. And again, our recommendation would be to go with the Fortify alternate bid.
Just a quick question.
Mhm.
If it's so cheap, it seems so cheap to add the Fortify, are there any downsides to that?
No. And that's why when I talked to several different people and municipalities who use it, and they told me it was a no-brainer. For the price, basically all they do is they take these fibers and they throw it in when they're mixing the asphalt up, and it just gets mixed in with it, and it just holds it together. Why somebody didn't think about this 30 years ago, I don't know. So
It should be a standard.
Should be a standard.
and I
Yeah.
think it will
I
be.
think because it's not that much more, that's why it is. a
Yeah,
standard
and I
for-
think locally, you're going to see companies making it the standard. Right now, it's the option because it's not everywhere yet, but it'll become the standard.
Mhm. Okay. So I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve Effingham Asphalt's bid for East Side Parking Lot Project at a cost of $167,850.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Desha,
Second.
second by Chad. Roll call.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Tisha.
Yes.
I was through there today at pickup time and it's very congested
Mhm.
and the street is very busy. So that will be a good addition. Okay, next on the agenda is bus sales.
We opened up, if you remember, you approved for us to try to sell the buses versus trade them in. And so we opened those bids last week. Good news, we sold four of the 8 buses we had, as well as we sold the 2 work trucks that we've had put away for a while. When we added all those up, we actually received $41,600 over trade-in value on those vehicles. So the bid process is well worth it. So what we would ask for tonight is for the board to approve accepting those bids and the sale of those buses and trucks. Inside the memo, we talk about who bought what bus and how much. However, we did have 4 buses that did not sell. We had a lot of people call the day before the bid opening, and they just couldn't get here. And so we've had a lot of interest in our 4 remaining buses. So I would ask the board to please approve the sale of the buses we've already have contracts on, and then allow me to rebid the other 4 buses in March and see if I can sell those as well, please.
Okay, so are these 2 separate
Yes.
motions then? Okay. So I'll first entertain a motion in a second to accept the bids as presented for the 4 buses and 2 trucks.
Make that motion.
Motion by Brad,
I'll second.
second by Chad. Roll call.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Tisha.
Yes.
So then the second motion and second would be to approve bidding out the remaining 4 buses.
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Motion by Jane,
Second.
second by Desha. Roll call.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Tisha.
Yes.
I think we're about ready to close out our EJHS project. So would you like to talk about that,
are,
Mr.
we
Fox?
So we just gave an update to the committee. Things are winding down. We're getting a lot of the punch list items taken care of. A few HVAC issues here and there we still are ironing out, but we would like to also start thinking about an open house to bring the community in to see it. We were thinking the end of March, first part of April for that. So that date will be coming up here soon. And we have our multimedia department putting out some different videos of the building and the remodeling process to kind of let everybody's appetite to get in and see it. So it was really just an informational thing there to let everybody know we're about done closing things out and we're getting ready for an open house.
And then we do have an upcoming open house at East Side, right?
Correct,
Do you want to
yes.
tell us about that?
So that's actually this week on Thursday from 4 to 6. We are going to open up East Side. The neighborhood is going to, have all been invited. They walked the block and put invitations in each of the neighbors' mailboxes so that they could come in and see the building. We'll also have the plans for the parking lot there so they can see what our plans are there. But I know each of you are going to be invited to come and take a peek at the building and see all the work that was done. The big thing about that facility, as you walk through it on Thursday, the HVAC and the windows were done by a contractor. Everything else in the building was done by the district maintenance team.
Wow.
So they did every bit of work other than the windows and the HVAC. So
The outside looks great. I'll be there Thursday to see the inside.
I think it'll look a little bit different when Jane and Angie gosh, what was that, 2 years ago?
It was sad.
Yeah. So when we decided to be able to move, expand, put our preschool program to that building, back to that building, and just kind of on a trust, hey, it'll look a lot better. And
I couldn't believe how much work it needed.
yeah, and it will. I think most people, I think everyone will be surprised and happy. Same thing about the junior high. It's kind of one of those things where if you've lived through it and the staff there have lived through it for 3 years, you kind of get used to the changes. But if you haven't been in that building in a long time, I think people are going to be very happy about what they see, because quite frankly, that was taken down. It's not studs, it was just walls, but there's been a lot of work there. And so we're really happy with that project.
Excellent. I think you're free for a little bit.
Thanks, Jason.
Next on the agenda is reports from the Technology Committee. We'll have Emily.
Hi there.
Hello.
All right. So I am here to recommend the approval of our first purchase of the laptop life cycle that was approved back in December by the board. To get that going, we have to start purchasing, in kind of these segments. And so that's what I'm recommending is the purchase of 185 laptops for next year's 9th graders. And so you can kind of see, I think Mr. Doan gave you the price breakdown there. But with cases, it's going to cost the district approximately $11,490.60. The actual total cost was $73,000. I was able to secure some grant money for that purchase using the Emergency Connectivity Fund. It was a federal funding source. And so that took care of that $73,000. That took care of about $62,000 of that bill. So this first round is going to be a little bit more affordable than maybe the next. But that is what I am recommending to the board to purchase. So,
Okay.
Thank you.
Great work on the grant writing.
We're just gonna expect it every time.
Yes.
I'll see what I can do. If the money's out there, I'll try.
I don't think the next recommendation will only be $11,000.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
So I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve the purchase of 185 laptops and 220 cases for the 2022-23 school year.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brad,
I'll second.
second by Chad. Roll call.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
And then next, we'll have, thank you, Mrs. Block. The curriculum committee met. Sure, that would be great, Shelley.
There's probably just one item of note, unless you want to add anything to it, Jill, that we have a population of students that do not speak English as their native language. And that has become, over the last few years, a bit of a growing concern to just serve those students and to provide them the services that they need. And so for a year now, we have had an opening that we have not been able to fill for a second ESL teacher. And so we reached out last week to staff for the first time using the newly negotiated contract language of hard to fill to see if we had any staff who might be interested in being considered for going back to school to get an ESL endorsement and then deliver services to students who are acquiring English. So I think that's it's important to note that because we're using that newly negotiated contract language. Very thankful for that. And staff may have questions about that too. So I think it's important just to make you aware of it. The other aspect of that is there are really 3 different ways that you can go about getting this endorsement. 2 are probably more feasible. English as a new language is not really available in a lot of universities, but English as a second language endorsement is. There's also bilingual education. And so one of the differences is that for English as a second language, you do not have to be able to speak another language fluently. So you may wonder why, but you're helping people learn to speak English, not helping them learn to speak a different language. Now, the bilingual endorsement is different. You do have to prove proficiency in another language. So we have a couple different directions that we can go. So you may have staff who say something to you also, so I'm just providing you some education as well, that they do not have to speak another language in order to pursue showing their interest in something like this. So
It's definitely a growing need. And we did spend a lot of time talking about how we were going to reach out to our staff and find, making them aware that there is a need and that we can help them, continue their education so we can fill our hard
We
to fill.
received a letter too from a parent just in
Yes.
the last week or so.
Yes.
Someone reached out to Brad, and I think it's a great opportunity for us, even for the community. We have a lot of employers that are trying to hire people. If we have one of the top programs that caters to these students, that can have a big impact for our community too. So.
And really, to what I thought was interesting, speaking with Mrs. Beck, was that, we all assume that it's Spanish that we need, and we have a lot of other languages being spoken in our schools that, it's not necessarily English or Spanish that they're lacking in support.
Spanish is the primary second language in our district, but we have other languages, Vietnamese, Gujarati, Tagalog, and some others. So,
And that segment's growing too, correct?
yes, I think we're at about 2.5% of our student population, and so over the year we're 1.5%, I think, and so we've grown. We just slowly, incrementally grow, and the challenges become getting staff to all of the buildings where all of the students are. We have 6 buildings, and so you're driving one person to all 6 buildings in essence to deliver services to students, and we all know that that's not ideal, which is why we need a second person, but we need candidates for that.
So right now, one of our approaches is to try to take existing teachers and help them get their education.
Yes.
Have we thought about taking Spanish-speaking people and trying to help educate them to become a teacher?
That's something I think we could look into. But no, that is not something that we have.
Because that might be another way.
Yeah, and that's a good point. One of the things to remember, there's 2 different things we're talking about. One is a professional educator license, which is actually eligible to teach, versus an endorsement, which is
Right.
18 to, I'm not, how much, you're talking about 18 to 24 hours versus getting an actual degree. Yeah, so they're different, but longer term, I think we need to look at all those options, and we'll continue to do so. So this is something that's just going to continue to grow. And you've mentioned some things about that as well. So,
Because that'd be wonderful if we could offer some support to the Hispanic community to get them educated
sure.
to become teachers in our schools.
Well, this is a good point. Just talking about it tonight, maybe somebody that's watching this evening or hears, of a family member or somebody in the community that may have an interest, from the district standpoint. And when we negotiated this, it's the option of when we say we want to support, that means the district would be paying for that additional education. And so that individual, the district would pay for that, so they don't have to, because it meets a need and also gives them an opportunity as well. So, I think we're open to all options to move forward. We talked a little bit about that at the committee level.
A few of the other things that we talked about at committee level is the computer curriculum, and then instructional materials that we're getting ready to. Are we talking about future purchases yet?
Not
quite.
yet. We're still making some decisions right now and then getting quotes. So probably March board meeting and April board meeting will bring a lot of those before for approvals.
And those are some areas, but then bigger down the road next year will be the pilot for the ELA, which would be, is that K-8 or is that K-12?
K-5.
K-5. So then piloting and then a purchase and just, that'll be
A long process.
and it'll be a big
That'll be
purchase.
a sizable
Mhm.
amount.
So we're trying to plan on that now.
Does anybody have any other questions for committees? No? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, I will entertain a motion and a second to enter into closed session for student discipline. Number 2, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district. And thirdly, litigation. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Chad and Desha, second. Roll call?
Brad,
Yes.
Desha,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes. Yes.